hope everything with the move was okay and worked
Yeah,
out.
we're all moved in.
Awesome.
We're buying new furniture, so we don't have much here at all. So it's
Right.
like we got one small bed and no living room furniture, no dining room furniture, no primary bedroom furniture or anything like that.
There you go.
So we're squishing in here, but it's a beautiful place in a great area, of course. St. Petersburg, Florida. We both love it, and that's why we got a place there.
All right.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Nice.
All right, DH, you ready?
Yes, we are live and ready. We can get this
Okay.
one started.
All right, let's get our intro in.
Hi, this is Ivan from Men Without Hats, and you're listening live from Nashville to the D&D Dynamite 80s podcast with DC and DH.
Live from Nashville, Tennessee, you are listening to the D&D Dynamite 80s podcast with your hosts, DC and DH. So guys, take it away. Icy Nashville.
Yes, I'm telling you, not even the good icy where you can have popcorn with it,
Yeah, not even icy like we would like it.
I like going over to Target and get the icy with the popcorn, not the icy on the street.
Icy on the streets, man.
But hey,
yeah.
the good news is, man, you got another week out of work. We're out.
You got that
Friday,
right.
They announced that today, so you get
Yeah.
a full week off. You're welcome for that, by the way. I
appreciate
with
you.
it, but you're welcome anyway. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another episode of D&D Dynamite 80s. I'm DH.
Hey, and I am DC, along with Tammy, our co-host,
Yes.
and one of our sponsors. And joining us from the Austin, Texas area, where she's had a little bit of this same storm. And
We're
Tammy
having it
doing
down
okay?
here too.
Oh, we are
parties.
honored to have, Steve Lynch with us tonight, autograph founder and guitarist and musician. And, and like Steve was saying before we got on live here, it was a little bit coming. We had to work out some details with the move that he took place for him and stuff. And, man, we're honored to have you. Steve, how are you?
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, guys. Thank you.
Steve, go ahead, DC.
Good. Yeah, let me start with the one that you get a lot, I know, but I'm always curious about when the music bug hit you, that this is something that I have talent to do and I want to do it for a living. Talk us through that background.
I didn't have talent to do it. I had to develop that. And it took me a long time too. So, but it was, really when I first saw the Beatles, that's what really got to me. I loved their music and everything. And and that was 1964. I saw him on the Ed Sullivan Show. I was only 9 years old then. And then a few years later, Jimi Hendrix, Purple Haze, that came on the radio and I got that album. I was, how old was I then? 67. I was 12. And that's what really did it for me. I mean, that's what made me want to become a guitar player. And I tell the whole story in my book. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the Confessions of a Rock Guitarist.
Yeah.
That came out last May.
Yes.
And so it kind of details everything, throughout my life and how I came about, being a guitarist and all that. But Hendrix was an early influence. I mean, it was the way that he played. And I hadn't heard anybody quite do that. There was the Claptons out there and the Yardbirds and stuff with Jimmy Page and Jeff Beck. But it was Hendrix that really motivated me. And I started playing bass because there was another kid that played guitar on the block, where I lived up in Seattle. And but I always really wanted to play guitar. So when Hendrix passed away in September 18th of 1970, I was 15 years old, and I went, that's it. I traded the bass in, and my dad allowed me to get a Stratocaster. And so that was it, and so off and running.
Awesome.
So, Steve, you mentioned that, and I wanted to see if you would share that story of meeting Jimmy's dad.
Oh, yes. It was at the Jimi Hendrix Memorial in Seattle. And it was his dad and his stepmom that were there. But I ran into him there, and I didn't know who he was, of course. He was just this little old black man, tiny frame and everything. And we started talking it up, and I was surprised how much he knew about Jimmy. He started to tell me all these things about how he would sit at the end of the bed, and I'm going, what? Who is this guy? And he'd strum on a broom playing along with the 45s, right? And he would wear that all these R&B artists, and so he would wear the straw using a bread pick, right? And then strumming on the straws of the broom and he said every night that he'd have to come and lift him up into bed and take the broom out of his hands and clean up the little pile of straw that was at his feet, and I thought, what a great story,
Wow.
And so I
Yeah.
asked him who he was, and he said, well, I'm Al Hendricks, I'm Jimmy's dad. And I immediately teared up, because I was just like, oh my God. I
Wow.
was probably
Wow.
I guess at the time it was like 1973, so I was probably 18 when I saw it. And so we just kept talking and everything. And he told me about how Jimmy got into it, by listening to those early 45s and all that. And he just fell in love with it. And he eventually got him an electric guitar, like a little $40 electric guitar that, from a pawn shop that wasn't even really a real guitar. But Jimmy
Wow.
absolutely loved it. Took it everywhere with him, took it to school and played all, during school and everything. Did little concerts during the cafeteria hour and all that. So I thought that
Oh,
was really
cool.
cool. He's telling me
Yeah.
all these cool stories, and
Sure.
here's the dad of my icon, and what a
Wow.
cool thing to have that happen. So
That is
Yeah,
cool.
that is
Yeah.
so awesome. That is
And,
so
and
awesome.
Steve, one of the things I want to ask, and I don't think we've ever asked this question of anyone before, because I think for me, knowing that your work 40 years later
Hmm.
is still, people still like when it comes
uh,
on the radio or whatever, people just automatically tune in, they're jamming to it, they're still rocking out to it.
Yes.
I mean, how does that make you feel as an artist, knowing that work 40 years later is still that monumental in people's lives?
oh, it's amazing to me. I would have never have thought that when the song first came out. I thought, okay, this is a really good song, and our other songs were too. A lot of people don't realize that we had a
Yeah.
lot of really good
Oh, yeah.
material.
Absolutely.
We spent a lot of time writing songs, and for every song that we recorded, we probably wrote about five, but the other four got kicked out. You know what I mean? And never made it onto a recording. So we were writing constantly. But thinking back to that time, I just never could have imagined that it would be still around 40 years later, and I'm still around 40 years later. And that amazes me too.
Right?
Now, kind of a follow up that have you ever thought about doing? And I don't want to call it lost, but like some of those songs that didn't make it through that
You
first
know,
wave.
yeah, there is some songs that did not make it onto any of the later recordings, and that's out on FNA Records. It's all these compilation. One's called
Mm.
Cloud 10. There's a 2 CD package, so it's FNA Records, and so that was just released just a few months back, and one's called Send It to Me, or Cloud 10, then Send It to Me, and then. So it's you can go to check it out, and you can hear some of the original material that we wrote that never quite made it.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome. That is great. Great
Yeah, oh
stuff.
yeah.
Great
but
stuff.
we were all seasoned musicians. We didn't get signed to RCA. I mean, I was 29. I was almost 30 years old when we signed to RCA. Now, for a
Wow.
rock musician, that's late. And all the rest
Yeah.
of the guys,
Yeah.
it was only me and Kenny that were still in our 20s. And the rest of the guys are already in their 30s, you know. So me and Kenny were 29, and everybody else was, already 31, 32 years old. So,
Wow.
so we had all been around the block. So we went into the studio. It's like when we work with producers, a lot of people ask me about this. It was like we had already done so much recording and so much touring up to that point. Even Randy had played with Lita Ford for years and all that. So I played on one of her most successful albums. And so we'd all been around the block and we had done it. So the producers that we worked with, they were kind of like watching us, and they'd throw in an idea every once in a while, but we had it so down pat in the studio. It
Wow.
went very quickly. And so, the first and second album, each one, it only took us 30 days to record. And that includes
Wow.
mastering or
That is
mixing and mastering as
amazing.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the third album was the one that with Andy Johns, where we took us 3 months because we really wanted to spent a lot of time on the sounds and everything.
Yeah.
By that time we were well-oiled machines, just and as a unit, because of the fact we'd done so much touring, so much recording together, and then you think about all the recording that we did for different movies and TVs, stuff and all that. And so it was a lot, that in that period, there was just a lot of work that we were doing. We're constantly busy. So when we went into the studio for that third album, man, it went really, really well. Actually, the Loud and Clear album is our third album on RCA. That's my favorite album that we did, so.
That's my favorite too. I'm telling
Is it? Yeah. A
Turn
lot
Up
of people have
the
been.
Radio is my favorite song, but
Right.
that Loud and Clear album, oh my gosh, from
Yeah.
the first note, like you are just wailing. It's so good.
Yeah.
I think that was the best of my playing was on that album right there, because I was honed in. We all were, we were all really good. You can tell on that album we were really tight, so it really reflected how much we had done, together as a band on that album. So
the first song on that with Loud and Clear,
yeah.
There's a really killer intro. Did you wing that or did you plan that?
No, I actually, we didn't have that in the beginning, so it kind of needed something. And so I came up with the idea, of doing this two-handed stuff, which is like fifths and fourths combined. And so I did that, and we added it on, and everybody went, "Oh my God, that's so cool." And a funny story is the same thing with Turn Up the Radio, that beginning and Turn Up the Radio, where I'm doing all that weird guitar stuff. That wasn't on the original. And so
Wow. Okay.
RCA said, Steve, you got to come back in and do something in the beginning, something, because it was just starting off with dun 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 dun, and it didn't have any of that, and the song just kind of came in, but it needed a lead up to that part. You know what I mean? To really make it break in when the full song came in, and so. So what I did was I worked for a few days on just all these different ideas, went into the studio and just I banged it out in like a half hour. And,
Wow.
and the engineer was going, "Holy shit, man, that was really." And so I was surprised myself that I actually was getting it, like most of it on the first take. And so we tagged that on there, and RCA absolutely loved it. They said this song is going to be monstrous now.
Yeah.
And at first they didn't think it was a big enough hit. They were going to release "Send Her to Me," which is another really good song, but they thought that "Send Her to Me" was going to be a bigger song than "Turn Up the Radio." But then we said, no, it's "Turn Up the Radio." Radio stations are going to love that.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And they did.
Right.
So what
Sure
we
they did.
to promote it, we went in and we did the call letters for each station around the whole United States. It took us two 8-hour days. So we'd go into the studio and we'd say, "Turn it up," KZYX or whatever.
Right.
WZ.
I remember that.
Yeah, exactly. And the radio stations absolutely loved it because we were calling them out by name. They're,
Yes.
I remember hearing that. Yeah, that was the coolest thing. And I always wondered if you did that like across the nation or if it was just like, certain markets
for that particular station.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we did it for everybody.
Wow.
Yeah. All the P1 and all the P2 stations back then. Yeah.
Wow.
That's why it took us 2 8-hour days to complete
Right.
it. It was a lot. None of us could talk after that either. So.
Yeah. Now, Steve, I've always wondered this because, things happen in live performances. What's one thing that's happened when you were in the middle of a performance and looking back now, you go, how did I make it through that and not just, lose it or laugh or whatever?
Oh, well, one of the most embarrassing things was we were playing in Washington, D.C. at, the Dulles Theater or whatever it was then. I can't quite remember, but it was on tour with Motley Crue, I believe. And I was wearing these black kind of leather pants, and they split open on stage, and they had these screens everywhere so that everybody could see. And it was the front of my pants, and then the people in the front row started pointing up at me, going, "Dude," laughing and stuff. And I'm going, so my junk is hanging out, and I'm going, "Oh shit!" I looked at the big screen and I'm going, "Whoa!" And I shifted my guitar real quick. So it's one of those things, there's nothing you can do about it. And then also with another one with Motley Crue was that my God, we were playing, and me and Tommy had just gotten wasted the night before. It's just, you can't be around Tommy and not get wasted. You know what I mean? So I ended up on their tour bus all night, but that happened often. They would end up on tour bus, and I didn't. We'd end up on their tour bus. We were all going to the same place, so it didn't matter. So. But
you would
anyway,
get there,
yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
So yeah, so I remember I was getting sick on stage. I mean, I felt like I was going to pass out, and I was in the middle of a guitar solo, and so I kept playing, and I had my wireless on and everything. So I ran behind my amplifiers, and I started throwing up, and I kept playing. I was literally ralphing my guts out. And I didn't miss a note though. And I thought, after that was over, and the song was done, I went, no, that's a professional. That's what you do.
Right.
The show must go on,
That's right.
So,
Oh, wow.
Oh, that is hilarious. I just, you guys, you bring so much performance and stuff, and you share so much of yourself. It's really refreshing to kind of hear those funny stories because
It is.
you guys make
Yeah.
you look like, I mean, everything is perfection, and it's like
it's
I
a
wonder if
lot of
anybody-
rehearsal, It is
Sure.
a lot of rehearsal. I always practice like a couple hours before I even went on stage every night, so to make sure that I can pull off all my solos. Because I'd make these ridiculously hard solos, and I'm going, why did I do that? What was I thinking? I got to perform these live.
But you're good enough. You do it.
right?
You do.
Yeah, that's right. You just practice. So, yeah.
Loving your memoir, I have to say. I'm like probably halfway
great.
through it, having a ball. Your stories are hilarious. You're hilarious. I want to know if you still have an aversion to spiders, because all the spider stories from when you were young are killing me.
Oh God, yeah. I still hate spiders. Spiders and snakes, just like the song. It's just like, no, they nailed it. When I heard that song, I went, God, he nailed it exactly. It's all about spiders and snakes, So, but yeah, I still hate them. Absolutely. I won't kill them. Well, unless it looks really creepy, then I'll kill it. But,
Unless they're crawling on you, right?
Right.
Oh, God,
Yeah.
yeah.
You'll
If they're my
oh,
personal
man.
space, they're
you'll-
history.
you'll-
Yeah,
just
it's
go
like
over.
when it all started out when I moved, and my dad kicked me out of the house, because I wasn't going to go to school. I was going to be a guitar player after Jimi Hendrix died, right? So he said, well, that's fine, but you can't live here if you're not going to school. And so I said, can I borrow the old tent that we have? And he says, God, you can have that thing. We haven't used it in years. We hadn't gone camping for years. So so I took that and I cleaned out a big blackberry patch next to a friend of mine's house. They had a lot next to their house. And I just ran an extension cable out there, set up the tent, and I had a cot, sleeping bag, and I had a lamp out there, my little amplifier, my Stratocaster, and I was good to go. But the problem was in the middle of those sticker bushes, I had destroyed a lot of spiders' homes. So they moved in with me into that tent.
Right.
It was not good,
Yeah.
because I'd wake up and there would be a creepy crawly running up my sleeping bag towards my face. And then, of course, you jump up and they fly off. You can't find them. I had
No.
a flashlight.
Right.
Where is he?
True.
Where is he? He's gonna get me. I know that. So. And then I moved into their basement because the winter got so bad that the snow was caving my tent in. So I was having to set my alarm for every couple hours. So I'd have to get out and shovel the snow off my tent. Otherwise, it'd start caving in. And so I moved into their
Wow.
basement, and it was an erected factory. I mean, it was just ridiculous. And so I have some stories in my book about that too. So yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
oh.
Good times. Right.
Yeah.
That's right. To look back on. That's
Yeah, right. To look back on, exactly.
Yeah.
They weren't funny when they're happening, right?
right.
Right.
That's true.
None of these stories are usually. But then you look back on them and you go, damn, that was pretty hilarious.
And then sometimes you look back on them and go, man, how am I here at this
Did
age?
I? Yeah. How am I
God,
still
yeah.
around? Yeah.
I do that every day I wake up.
Oh. Steve, let me ask this: for the '80s decade, in your opinion, why is it such a dominant thing, even to all ages, that they listen to the music, they want to see TV shows, they want to see the movies that came out of that decade? Why is it such a powerful decade?
Because it was all colorful, all big and glamorous. And the thing was, it was about being positive and having a great time. There was, and that was then remember after that, the grunge thing came along, and that was basically it's about depression, suicide, drug addiction and stuff. And so people don't want to hear about that kind of stuff. And then that kind of carried through, and even the heavy metal stuff that came along later. It just another big part of it was that people couldn't sing along with it.
Right.
That's a big one. You see, if they can't sing along with it, you hear somebody up there growling through the microphone. Well, what's he even singing? Where's the melody line? Where's the chorus? We don't know the verse of the chorus. What is it? Yeah. So it makes it very difficult for people to really appreciate. I know that there's some heavy metal that I really like. I really like Metallica, but there's other bands, like Orpheum that I really like, or Opus, so there's bands like that I do like, but I think generally speaking, the public needs something that they can relate to, the lyrics that they can sing along with, and they can have a good time. That the '80s epitomized that, and I think that's why people love it so much. Same thing with the '70s, really, the '60s as well. '60s, '70s, and '80s. Then it kind of just took a real turn, a downward turn actually, and in the '90s, beginning of the '90s, and that was it. It changed it. So
yeah. And I think one of the things, Steve, that I know we've mentioned before, for us in the '80s, you could be the metal person, or you could be the hip hop, whatever, but everybody listened to everything because everything got mixed in.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to joke around here in Nashville that, Rat, when they first started out, it would be like Johnny Cash, special guest Rat, Lawrence Welk,
right, exactly.
It didn't matter.
Exactly. Yeah, we were backstage. We would listen to Run DMC, and then would listen to the Headpins, and then we'd listen to LL Cool J,
right?
And so it was cool because we could all relate to it. We loved the beats that were going on and the simplicity of it and everything, and so it was kind of inspiring to us before we went on stage. And then of course you had all these different artists, like then that big with Run DMC and Steven Tyler, that was great when they did Walk This Way.
Yeah,
everybody was saying, no, you can't do that. It's two different styles of music, and I'm going, yeah, you can.
I made it work.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah,
and
make
it turned
it
out
work.
being a huge
Make
hit.
it work.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Because like here in Nashville, you would hear, you may hear you guys, followed by Madonna, followed by Van Halen, followed
just
by
a
Lionel
mixture.
Richie.
Just
exactly.
You listen to it all. It was
and I listened to a lot of new age stuff. I was listening to Duran. I really liked I'd like The Cure because it was just so obscure, and God, what's that band? Midnight Oil. That's the band. Down from Down Under. I can't remember the name of them actually. I think they were called Midnight Oil, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there was a lot of stuff I was listening to, and then but I also one of my favorite bands from that time era was The Cult. I just love The Cult because they had just I was listening to it yesterday, and it kind of reminds me a bit of AC/DC, but with a different edge on top. You know what I mean? Because it has that same boom, boom, bap, but it just carries through. It's a real simple drum beat, but man, it's got that drive, just like AC/DC does. So, I
remember along with them, I remember like Adamant, Men Without Hats, Billy.
I loved them all because it was so different. There's no other music that had been done quite like that before that time. And so I welcomed it all. I'm going, wow, this stuff's great. The rest of the band would get into my car, and then I'd have that station on with the new age stuff. They go, or not the new wave stuff. I mean,
New wave.
and they'd go, "What the hell are you listening to?" And I said, "Hey, man, I listen to it all." So I'd go through the stations, or
Yeah.
the country western one, whatever I wanted to listen to,
Yeah.
And so they thought, a lot of people thought, no, you got to stay right on this. No, you don't. You can do whatever you want,
Yeah.
So
That is so cool.
You toured with a ton of different bands like
Yeah.
Motley Crue, Van Halen, Aerosmith, Bryan Adams, Ronnie James Dio, like
Yeah.
all those. Was there a certain band that was just the best to tour with, or that stood out in a good or bad way?
Well, I think it was Motley Crue because I don't remember it.
Right. Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
No, it was God, we loved touring with Ronnie. Ronnie had a great sense of humor, I'll tell you. That was really cool. Loved touring with Hart. And Bryan
wow.
Adams was a real sweetheart. He was really cool. Van Halen, they were a little bit sticklers, to have to deal with, on a lot of different issues. So, but they gave us a big chance on that tour, and because of it, we got signed to RCA. So I have to commend them for that, no doubt about it. You see, the funny story is that there's a few members out of Autograph, Steve Plunkett and the singer, and Randy Rand, the bass player, and also Kenny Richards, that used to open up, or Van Halen used to open up for them in a group called Wolfgang, especially Steve Plunkett and Randy Graham.
Oh, wow.
And so it's kind of when David Lee Roth found out that who were the members in it, he went, "Oh my God, Randy Rand." And David Lee Roth knew who I was already, just from the buzz around LA about what I was doing with the two-handed technique, And so, I'm sure there were some people that were a bit jealous about that. I won't go into naming names, but anyway, to me, it's not a big deal. But anyway, so when David heard about that Steve Plunkett and Randy Rand were in it, and that I was in it, he said, "Oh my God, you guys should come out and tour with us." We weren't really even a band yet. We were playing with other projects and recording with other projects. And so, when he asked, because he wanted to come full circle, instead of them opening up for Steve Plunkett and Randy Rand, it would be like Steve Plunkett and Randy Rand opening up for Van Halen. And so that was kind of the whole part of it, and so but it worked out really well. I mean, we had a gas on the tour, and even though there were quite a few restrictions on us, to put it mildly, but it worked out for the better, and I'm very thankful to them to this day.
So I'm guessing those restrictions was taken off when you were touring with Motley Crue, from what you may or may not remember.
I don't think restrictions.
What
were in the
restrictions?
vocabulary. Yeah, it's just like, no.
Yeah, what restriction?
Do what you want. They said you can have anything. You can have the whole PA. Instead of 25% of the PA, you can have all the lighting. We don't care.
Wow.
Oh, that is amazing.
And we'll see you backstage after the show.
Right. Or at least we may see you. I don't know if we will. Or
yeah,
not, but
right.
we'll be there.
Yeah, right. It's a good thing that people didn't have iPhones back then recording everything. Oh my
Right.
God.
Oh,
Yeah.
can you imagine? Yeah. Oh, wow. Absolutely.
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to even walk into a church today if it was. None of us would, believe me.
Oh.
Oh man.
What you got, Tammy?
I want to know about Blue Neptune.
Oh yeah, that was a
Tell us.
project that I was working on. Just some very obscure songs that I had. In fact, I have quite a few of them. And what I wanted to do was put together kind of like an album that would be very experimental, just with mainly me playing on it, and I'd have special guests come in. That's kind of what I do with my Network 23 album that came out it actually was recorded in 1995, but then there was a bunch of stuff going on. The record company went bankrupt and and there was Hasapa Records, distributed through EMI. And so that kind of put me on the bench for a while, because I couldn't release it for like almost 10 years after that. And but I played most of the instruments on that. That's what I'm referring to, back to that album. And except for drums and vocals. And so on this album, I would do the same, but I've always wanted to do like an album like Dark Side of the Moon, where it's just all experimental and there's no boundaries. You can let the songs go as long as you want. You can add whatever thing that you want into them, and I love to experiment. That's like my favorite thing to do is sit down and just create. That is my thing nowadays, is just really creating. It's always been my thing, really, but especially now, I figure there may be some touring down the road. There might even be another autograph. That's something that I'm still debating, within myself, but the main thing, because I want to be creative and just spend all my time just doing that. And so that the name of that project would be Blue Neptune. And where I came up with that name is, well, the Neptune, the planet, is actually very, very blue. And you can actually listen to the sounds. You can go on YouTube and listen to the sounds of the way each different planet, what the sound it emits. And I listened to that one. I listened to all of them, but I listened to that one. I'm like, oh my God, that's got a really eerie hum to it, And so I thought, Blue Neptune, how cool is that? So I decided to snatch
That's
that.
awesome. That's cool stuff.
Yeah.
Now, Steve,
So are you still working on it?
Oh yeah, it's a work in progress. It's just like now that I've moved and everything, and I'm going to get some new equipment. I just bought a new computer and all that for just the recording sake, and but now I have to get a studio set up here and plunge myself back into it, and so we'll see what happens within this next year. I'm just gonna have fun. Right now, I just look at it at my age where I'm not going to force myself to do anything.
Right.
So.
Now, Steve, this is the most important question of the night.
Uh-huh.
This is the question for the Waffle House breakfast at our post
Oh my God,
on
yes.
Friday morning. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're changing up a little bit. We're going to give you 2 movies this time. Okay.
Okay.
Now, as you know, and Tammy, DC always says I cheat on this. So I'm not going to say anything about the 2 movies, but
Okay.
DC, I did want to tell you something before I get into this. You know my sister Beverly, right?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, she likes to go and see the hills. So I took her to see the hills this week. There was no animals anywhere. The only thing we saw were cops. So the only thing seen by Beverly in the hills was cops. I just wanted to share that with you, okay? I just wanted to share that. I'm not hint or anything. So I'll let you give the movies here.
All right, Steve. The 2 movies, 80s movies to choose from, whichever one is your favorite of the 2. Beverly Hills Cop versus Ghostbusters.
Beverly Hills Cop.
Tammy?
That didn't take much time.
No, well, you know what? I really thought that the writing and Eddie Murphy was so humorous. He was really good in Beverly Hills Cop. And I love Ghostbusters too, but I kind of look at that one as like it's more like more for a younger crowd, because I was already, you got to think, I was already in my 30s when that came out. Right. So Beverly Hills Cop played more to my style of humor than than Ghostbusters did. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I loved them both.
Yeah, there you go.
Great movies. Yeah. All right, Tammy, let's see if your vote counts.
They're both amazing movies, but I'm a little younger, Steve. Ghostbusters was the first movie I saw without my parents.
Let's see what you got in the ladies' room.
Yep. Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I see it.
Ghostbusters stuff so you can see from here.
I see in the back. I see it on the shelf too.
Oh yeah. That is
so
my
you hate me now.
favorite.
Okay, so let me go back and change my answer then.
No, Steve, this is the way it works for this week's show. Tammy's vote no longer counts.
She's part of the she's part of the show.
She's part of the show now, so her vote doesn't count. So I
knew he'd work an angle. Yeah.
We just wanted to ask to be nice and get what her opinion was, because
he just wants the free breakfast out of it. That's what his angle is.
Yeah. We didn't, her insight on it,
right.
But
a budget show that you're on right here. We
you guys are
weekly.
You're paying me a boatload just to do it. I'm really appreciative of that.
Wait a minute, I haven't received a check in 5 years.
Right. So we meet weekly. I don't know why, to try to improve the show. It hadn't worked, but we meet weekly to do it.
Well,
talk
so far,
over
I
the
think you're
show
doing a
and
great
plans for
job.
the show
So,
and
Right?
all that. So yeah, the winner gets a free breakfast weekly from whoever the guest chooses and
Well-
all that stuff. That's how it got
okay.
started. So
DC
people ask us. We'll have
think-
people that'll text and send emails like, "What's the next one?" And I want to ask you some of them that we've had in the past. We had Prince versus Michael Jackson.
Ooh, I remember that. That was a good
What
one.
are you thinking on that one, Steve?
Boy. You know what? I can't really think of it in a competitive sense because both were so brilliant. But they had different styles. You know, Michael was
Mhm.
an extremely good songwriter, performer, and everything. But so was Prince. Prince was, but he plays all the instruments, and that's one thing that I do kind of favor him is that
Yeah.
he's really good on guitar and drums and keyboards and
Yeah.
vocals and everything. And so that kind of talent and that kind of dedication to spread yourself across all those instruments, for all those years, that's wow. I'm thinking from a musician's perspective, obviously.
Sure.
But Michael Jackson, just wow, it's hard to top that one as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet either one of them?
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious. And the final one I want to that we had going that I'm curious about because you had background to both of them. DH, I think I'm right on this. We had Motley Crue versus Van Halen.
Yes, we did.
We did that
And
one.
that was
So
a
what are you
tough
thinking
one,
on
yeah.
that one?
I would go with Van Halen on that one.
See, I would win again.
yeah.
And I didn't,
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Motley Crue.
But
Oh.
all of them.
I mean, but
amazing.
they're so different,
Yeah, they are.
Motley Crue is more of a glam type of band, and basically Van Halen was just they changed the whole music scene.
right.
Motley Crue came along a little bit, years later that but the music scene had already been changed, and so you got to give it to Van Halen on that one.
Yeah, yeah,
Right,
that makes
yep.
sense.
So
And
That makes
DC, Steve gave us the best piece of advice ever. And if we do this, we might actually improve this show. He said,
I doubt it.
Practice, practice, practice.
Right.
yes, that's right.
We hear that from time to time, don't we?
Yeah,
And then I hear, we don't need no stinking practice.
that's right. Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about how to follow you. What kind of work you kind of mentioned a little bit of that towards the end here about some stuff that you're kind of working on and things like that. But where people can follow.
Well, they
what's
can go
going
to
on
the
with you.
Autograph site. There's constantly stuff being posted on there on the Autograph Facebook site, and then I have a Facebook site where you can follow me just by typing in my name. Probably if you're searching, just put Steve Lynch guitarist, and you can also see different videos of a lot of different things that I've done. Like with songs like on Network 23, that album that I did, where you can see a lot of my solos that are videotaped, and because I did a whole video extravaganza of all these different solos and everything, and I posted them on YouTube, so you can see them as
Fantastic.
well. So you can
Yeah.
really get a kind of a more up close look at how I did my solos, and they.
Yeah.
You can hear them, but then when you watch somebody play them, that's a whole nother that's a whole
Right.
nother
A
A whole
level,
different thing. Yeah. Sure.
Because then you go, oh, that's how he does that shit.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. That's right.
Or you're like me and you go, now, how does he do that? I'm watching
Yeah,
I still
right.
don't get it.
I got to run this back about 1,000,000 times.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I'm a slow learner. Yeah.
Right.
There you go.
He's over here, and I'm going, wait a
Yeah.
minute, I
He's
can't
already
keep
lost
up.
me. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. Oh, wow. Tammy, you got anything? Choose one off of that list.
She bailed because I didn't pick Ghostbusters.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen the facial expression.
Yes.
Okay, I need to
Okay.
because I really want 3. I need 2 because one of them is from Lynn in Nebraska, and he wanted to be here and had to work, and he's a listener.
Right.
He's been on
Yes.
here.
Number 1 listener, Lynn.
Yes.
Well,
Oh, okay.
something new. He's a new contributor too. We have a new
Yes, he's
segment
going to be a part
in
of the
just
show.
a few
that
moments.
he's-
Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
Yes, he sent it in. We've got him as a contributor. We'll be doing that momentarily.
Yes.
Very cool.
Okay, so his question, he says that Turn Up the Radio begins with one of the best buildups I've ever heard, not just from the 80s, but all time.
Yeah.
However, that means that the first verse doesn't start until a minute 15 seconds in. Did you ever have pressure from your producer or label or radio to shorten it for airplay?
Actually, it was RCA that said to put that on. So it was their idea, and the producer and we all loved it. And then when I did it, they loved it as well. You listen to a lot of songs, you know, from the 70s and the 80s, you know, especially from the 70s. That's where all the rules were broken during the 70s. They got out of the whole, you know, 3-minute and 20-second singles, right?
Mhm.
Okay. That was even considered a long single back at that time. It used to be 2 minutes and 30 seconds. But that's what I grew up with, was the late 60s and the 70s stuff. So, you know, to me, I was used to listening to long intros before it actually came in. And I know that they don't usually do that, but because of the fact of the way that it set the song up, they thought it was that it was not only necessary, but that it really helped make the song. So
So radio didn't mind because your label said it was good.
that's right. And we said it was good. So to hell with the
Right.
radio.
It was still there. Okay, my other one I would like to ask everybody. So you founded a school of music near Seattle in the 2000s, which is
Yes,
amazing. I love that you did that. It looks awesome.
Thank you.
I'm a member of the local School of Rock. and
Oh,
I've
very
been
cool.
in a band, and they teach adults, everybody. They teach adults.
Yeah, yeah.
So I want to know, you know, I'm learning my instrument still. I'm probably intermediate keyboard player and a new performer. Like I've been doing it
Oh,
for
very
4
cool.
years. 4 years.
Congratulations. That's cool.
You know, thank you. So performance wise, like with a band, when you're new in a band or new to performing, what piece of advice do you have?
Practice. The more you practice, and what's important is that you practice along with the music. Even if you take like a boombox into rehearsal and you just record all together, you know, just practicing the songs along with that and doing it the same way every time. That really helps build your confidence and your ability to play everything very, very polished. And so what I would do, as a matter of fact, was I would take in the boombox and I would play along with songs that we were writing. But then when the solo bit came about, I would just leave it blank. And then I would take that tape home and I'd play it over and over again where the solo is supposed to be, and without a guitar in my hands. I never wrote a solo with my guitar in my hands. It was all here. And so I would listen to the part by part of the solo, you know, and that's why I wrote a lot of the music underneath the solo parts, like I did with Turn Up the Radio. We changed the key from G up to A, and I went into the whole Mixolydian mode, which is not very common, of course, in rock and roll. It's usually pentatonic, you know, whether it be major or minor pentatonic. But I went off onto this whole excursion, and it really took the song into a different place. And so what you have to do is you have to really lock yourself in with the bass and the drums and make sure that's tight first, and then really use your imagination. Sometimes, like I said, without a guitar in your hands, and come up with what's up here, you know, and what you really feel.
Yeah.
And then just figure out those parts once in a while, you know, one by one. You hear it like a beginning part, and then you figure out what you're hearing, and then you play it along with it. And it may not work, it may not work, but the thing is then you keep trying until you have that first part, and then all of a sudden it all starts coming together because you get so used to that blank area of where your solo is supposed to be, that you start writing the story. And that's the way I look at my solos, is that they're a story. And that's what I always loved about David Gilmour's playing from Pink Floyd. He always told a story with all of his solos. And you could tell he knew his theory because he played with triads a lot, and he really worked with different chords and everything in a very cool manner. Um, and I would say, just you know, have as many band practices as you can as well. But one of the things that we did was we would practice along with those tapes at home if we didn't have rehearsal, so that everybody, and I would just practice like I was doing a regular set. I would stand up and I would listen to the songs that were in order, the way that we were going to practice them live or play them live, perform them. And so what I would do is I'd play it over and over and over again as if I was on stage. And then that way, when I got on stage, it felt like at home. I was just able to. I had the energy. Then. But what you do is you move around in your living room just like you're on stage in front of 20,000 people. And that's a really good way to do it, is get everybody to practice like that, and you're going to have a tight sounding unit. So
Sweet. That's great
Awesome.
advice. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it was
welcome.
great.
I
Yeah.
have to show you something really quick. So I'm not
Okay.
going to explain all this, but I published a book recently.
Uh-huh.
It's my book. It has.
Oh, very cool.
Oh yeah. So it has hundreds of Easter eggs to 80s music in the
Uh-huh.
illustrations.
We'll go 3 for 3.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, look at you. And we have this nice little illustration. And if I can zoom in, hopefully you can see.
Move your finger just a little bit down.
Okay. Oh, I can't get it to it. There we
There
go.
it is.
The stereo says autograph. You
Autograph
guys are
on
Oh,
it.
here.
awesome. I love that.
Yay. So you're in my book.
All right. Very cool. Thank you for that. Do I pay you royalties?
Yes. Yes, please.
Wow, Steve, you didn't ask us that. I don't know.
Oh,
Right.
I already
Yeah,
paid you
folks, and
guys.
we'll talk
Okay,
about that.
okay.
Yeah, we'll let her talk about that at the end of the show. But it is a awesome book about the '80s, and
So
it's
much
got
fun.
so many cool
So much fun.
things.
That's awesome.
It is a fun book
Now-
for everybody at any age. It really is.
Now,
All right,
Steve,
that's
you're gonna
awesome.
like this, Steve, because this one, we've got a new segment, a new contributor to the show. Man, our show's just really expanding. We have contributors now.
Well, it has to. It has
Yeah.
to.
They see us trying to do it, and they're like,
Right.
let us help.
Right.
So
we got to help pull y'all out.
We've got a new segment of the show that we're debuting just for your show, Steve, and this
Okay.
is called "Laughing with Lynn."
Laughing with Lynn. segment.
Okay.
And DC, I'm going to let you explain it, and then give us our laughing.
Yeah,
with Lynn corner.
Lynn is a great guy out of Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska. Dr. Lynn, he's a chiropractor.
Okay.
He has been a big, huge fan of our show for a long time, and has always contributed with comments and follows and all kinds of great stuff. So we wanted to do something great for Lynn, and got with him, and he's gonna provide an '80s riddle or joke
Okay.
every week to put on the show. So we call it Laughing with Lynn. So Laughing
Very
with
cool.
Lynn. So the
Yeah.
one that he sent this week. Today I am playing Europe's greatest hits album on my turntable from the beginning to the end. Anybody
Okay.
know? It's the Vinyl Countdown.
Good
So
one.
Lynn, we appreciate it. We appreciate you sending that one
yeah.
in, buddy.
Is it called laughing with Lynn or laughing at Lynn?
Well, it depends on how you view it.
hey, I
It may
just-
change weekly.
I want
I
to
love
tell
you,
you
Lynn.
a quick story though. I just got to do dog. It's mixed between a bulldog and a Shih Tzu. It's called a bullshit. Okay. So
Well, they are.
Hey, can we make that our show mascot? We want
hell yeah,
Right.
either that or
That'd fit in perfect.
a Shih Tzu or a poodle. That's called a shit poo.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I love
So-
it.
Lynn actually has some questions on that he's typed in the chat.
Okay, go ahead, Lynn, real quick.
I've got him here. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Lynn wanted to know, after you broke into the scene in charts, did you ever go back and play the small club for a surprise thank you to the fans who first followed you?
Oh yeah. I mean, we did. Randy and I did another version of Autograph for a while. I mean, it was basically me and Randy with some guys that we put together with this, and so but it was we although we did play a lot of festivals and everything, we did play some smaller shows, and I really enjoyed that. And even during the late '80s, right before the original Autograph broke up, we did some smaller venues as well because the whole '80s thing was fading out very fast, so there was no artist being signed or anything, so you were kind of none of the auditoriums were selling out anymore or arenas, and so we were playing some smaller venues, but we've really enjoyed it because you think of all those times that you spent, playing professionally when you were making it to that point, where you could play larger venues. Those are the people that really inspired you to keep going, and they always supported you and everything. So to go back out and play again, and like I said, at the final, year of Autograph, the original Autograph being together, it was really cool. It was really much more personal. And we had such a good time with that, and so like I was saying, like I started playing professionally in 1973. So the club thing was just like a monstrous part of my whole existence as far as a professional player. And can't go wrong with going back out there and digging back into your roots. Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
Well put. Well
Awesome.
put.
Yes, yes. And I mean, it's just amazing, Steve. We want to thank you for joining our
Yeah.
show tonight, man.
Absolutely.
We
Oh,
really
it's been an
appreciate
honor,
it.
man.
Love to have you back on whenever you want to come on, and we just really appreciate your time and everything you're doing and all that you have done in the past with the music and all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's truly an honor to meet you.
Yeah.
All
Absolutely.
right. Thank you guys for having me
Yes.
on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tell your
absolutely.
memoir. Tell everybody about
Oh
your
yeah,
memoir.
please.
Because
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
plug
Need to read
plug
it.
your book.
Yeah.
People need to read it.
Confessions of a Rock Guitarist. And
Mhm.
I started writing that when COVID hit because
Mm.
I couldn't go out and play. I couldn't teach. I couldn't do anything. So I basically sat at home, and how it came about was that everybody, all these stories that I've told, numerous stories over the years, several decades, as a matter of fact.
Mhm.
Everybody was saying, "God, you got to write a book about your stories," especially my
Sure.
friends and my family. And so I started jotting down like one sentence, of reminders of different stories, and as soon as I read the sentence, I'd know exactly which story it was. So before you knew it, I had like 200 different sentences written down. And so when COVID hit, I started looking at those sentences and I thought, you know what? I'm going to start writing a book now. I'm going to finally do it. I've been
Mm.
meaning to do it all these years, but now I'm going to finally do it. And so I took all those stories in chronological order, and I picked out the ones that, if I told every one of them, it would be a series of books, So, but I probably picked out, oh God, a good 50, 60 different stories out of there. And I told them, and so it's just like my journey. What it is it's so that people get a understanding of how it all came about, how you become a musician, and it's kind of in your blood in the first place. You just kind of know that you're going to be. I was different from anybody at school. I dropped out of school in the 8th grade, and I got my whole education from reading, basically. As you can, I got this. This is like my library in here. I just got tons of books in here, and so that's where I got my education, and so I, throughout my whole, experience, as far as the traveling, the going to the Guitar Institute of Technology, my early years of playing professionally and all that, and how it all came about. I mean, it's a very interesting story, and all of the funny stories that are in it, traveling to different countries and teaching and all the experiences there. I mean, it's just tremendous. All the people you meet. I mean, it's just, how you feeling, how you really feeling during this time, your high points, your low points, you just deal with it all, and you just keep going. And so it's one of those stories where in the beginning of the book, it doesn't look like I'm going to make it at all. And then, and then all of a sudden I do, so and then now I'm at a place where it's like one of my favorite parts of my life, is where,
Yeah.
I'm the age I am now, which is 71. And I just turned 71
Wow.
last week. So
Wow.
yeah.
Well, happy belated
late
birthday.
Well,
birthday.
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
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 And I feel great about my life. I look back
Yeah.
on it, and I'm really
Yeah.
glad that I put this book out there so that people can understand, what it is what it's like to really be a true musician, dedicate your life to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
Yes, just amazing.
Once again, we appreciate your time so much, Steve.
You got it.
It was an honor to meet you, man. And I hope
Thank
you'll join us on the show again at some point.
Would love to. Absolutely
And-
love to.
All
And
right.
Steve, I'll go ahead and say either congratulations or condolences because now you're a member of the D&D Dynamite family.
Okay.
So whichever way you want to take
Right.
it's fine with us.
Right.
It's a congratulations. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Tammy, why don't you let everybody know your socials and all before we get into our sponsors and stuff where they can follow you at?
Sure, you guys can all find me at totallycool80s.com. That's my social handle. I'm on pretty much all of them. If you want my new book, it's on, or
There's the
my
old
other
books.
There's my other books. I got 70s and 80s music quiz books. Steve,
These
you
are
get
awesome too,
bored.
Steve.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
love with those.
Right
Um,
on.
You'll find links to them at totallycool80s.com. You can
Mhm.
find them on Amazon, where else, most places that books are sold online.
Yeah.
Or
Same thing with mine.
Call me.
Just the typical places,
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
All right,
But
ladies and
that's
gentlemen.
that's great, Tammy. I think that's really cool that you're doing all that.
Yeah,
Thank
you.
Tammy's amazing.
Yes, she is.
She has saved our behind many times.
Many,
So-
many times.
That's good.
Too many to.
Okay.
Yeah, you can tell. Yes.
All right. So, DC, before we get into intros, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to kind of wrap up this in here with our trivia question of the week.
Yeah.
We're
Go
going
ahead
to
and
put
do
that
that,
on
man.
Facebook as
Yeah.
well. Remember,
So
put
let
that in.
Folks,
Winners will be
send
drawn.
in your answers. Yeah.
Winners will be drawn after this week to see who could possibly be a guest host on this show.
Right.
Yes, you win the booby prize, but I mean, that's what it is, So there we go.
Right.
All right. So here's the question. Which one of these was not a cereal, a breakfast cereal in the 80s? So
Mm.
which was not Mr. T cereal, powdered donut cereal, banana splits with a Z, C3PO cereal. So those are your choices, folks, and we'll put that on the Facebook page as well for you to choose from.
So one of those was not
a cereal.
a
So we'll
cereal
reveal the
in the
answer
80s.
next week.
Gotcha. All
And
right.
as Steve said, we're going to try to practice before next week. See if we
That's
get better.
right.
We'll get a little
That's right.
practice in.
So-
Yeah. Yeah.
So, ladies
I
and
haven't got a
gentlemen,
clue about any of those cereals. I don't know. I guess I'm a serial killer. I don't know.
well, you
'cause I don't
probably
know.
ate all of them except the one when you were on the bus with Motley Crue. You just don't remember.
Probably.
Right.
We probably ate all of them. Yeah.
Right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for another episode of D&D Dynamite 80s. Remember, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Canyon Star TV, on our website, all D&D Dynamite 80s. As I always end it off before I send it over to DC to get our sponsors in, folks, remember, it doesn't cost anything extra to be kind, so always be kind to each other.
Amen, brother.
All right,
Amen. Let's
amen
get
to
the
that.
sponsors.
That's
in.
right.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
D&D Dynamite 80s would like to thank their sponsors, Hudson's Flags and More, Jackie's Creations on Facebook, PJG Marketing, The Roy Band, Riley Rhodes Art Designs at rileyroads.art on Instagram, Totally Cool 80s, Charlie Bubbles Cares for Kids, The Magic Yarn Project, and Hearts for Isabella. Please check out all these great folks online.
Yes, folks. And I want to give a special shout out to 3 organizations that we're associated with. We said if we ever got to the point with this show of being able to help others, that's one thing we wanted to do. And we have been so lucky to be a part of the family of these 3 organizations. The first is the Magic Yarn Project. And these folks are all volunteers across the nation, and they hand knit like princes and superhero headwear and donate it to kids that are battling cancer. And it makes such a huge difference for those kids and families. And the next one is Charlie Bubbles Cares for Kids, our friend the Vooch, Paul Carafotis. What they do is if you make a donation, they help provide books to kids that may not otherwise be able to attain those books. And as educators, we both know how important reading is at an early age. And DC's got a book there in his hand from Charlie Bubbles, and there's our sweet angel Isabella.
Isabella.
She
Lost
had
her
a
battle
heart
with a heart
condition and
condition.
lost the
Yeah.
condition, and
Yeah.
that's the third organization is Hearts for Isabella. Her family has started this, and they do a lot of great
Wonderful
work,
organization.
in hospitals for families experiencing traumatic events and losses.
Yeah.
So if you thoughts, prayers, monetary, ever how you want to support these organizations, we would appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. Up next week.
You're gonna make me do
Speaking
this
of Van
again?
Halen, our friend Lori Tucker, the 80s print and music video model, she was in one of the ladies in Hot for Teacher. So
Yes.
that's one of them she did. She did many, but that's one of them that people would see her work in for sure. So we'll catch up with Lori Tucker next week. And she's been awesome to the show. I think this will be her second time on with us. So,
Yes.
So we'll just a great lady. So excited about next week, man.
Yes, and Steve and Tammy, thank you both for joining us tonight.
It's been it's been fantastic. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Tammy,
it's
always
give my
amazing.
best to Nashville. I
Yes,
love
we will.
Nashville.
You need to get down here
Absolutely.
and play. We'll come out. We'll get
Yeah,
everybody out
yeah,
and see.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
give us a holler when you're in Nashville.
I
Need to
did.
meet you in
We'll do that,
person, that's
yeah.
for sure.
Hey, even if it's
Yeah.
not here for a show, give us a holler. DC's buying breakfast.
I'll be
everybody.
I'll be buying the Waffle House. Yeah, yeah. That's right.
DH, you're getting frozen Eggos this time, man.
Oh, listen,
That's right.
my heart is done well because I won the Golden Waffle Award for the
Right,
year
for the
last
year.
year. So
That's right.
So you know,
got the
I've
most
still gotta-
wins, man.
I still got to get that on the wall. Yes, but
That's
listen,
right.
it doesn't matter in Tennessee. Everything's frozen right now, so I'll take the frozen
Yeah.
Eggos. It's all
That's
good.
true. That is true. All right.
Steve,
So for
enjoy your new
DH, Tammy.
Great.
I
Tammy
and
had one more
for-
thing, David.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just wishing Steve they just got a new home, so just enjoy
Yes.
your new
All
home.
the best to
Yeah.
you and your wife.
Yeah,
and
me and my,
all the
my
best.
fiance. And
Yes.
so yes, we're loving it down here, and it's just a great thing. And thank you for the congratulations,
So-
guys. I
so-
appreciate that.
Yeah.
So listen,
And,
Steve, are you going to plant a garden at your new home?
No.
Because I was going to give you is your fiance going to have plants? Because I'm going to give you a housewarming gift now.
Okay.
This is what you can use as a scarecrow to keep all the pests away from the plants. All right, you ready?
Okay.
There you
That
go.
will do
You're
it.
welcome.
Right. Take a snapshot
scared
of
me.
that, and that'll run any creature off, including your
Personal
spiders.
housewarming gift for me to use. For me to use.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, wow. Once again, the DH there in the co-pilot seat along with Tammy this week. We appreciate that, Tammy. Steve, honor, man. Steve Lynch
Yes.
of
Thank you,
Autograph.
Been an
guys. This
honor.
is-
Check out all
This
his
has been a
great
blast.
work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we'll catch up with you in the future, my friend.
You got it.
All
My
right. All
pleasure.
right. As
All right,
DC always leads us out by saying, keep playing those 80s, my friends, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week, folks.
All
God
right.
bless you.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care.
All right, guys. Good show.